Grow. Welcome, everyone. You are in the right place at the right time. We're so excited to see so many people in the room for 365 Black, one community, united in Blackness, Black Brilliance and Innovation, a celebration of working while Black. We'd love to know and see where you all are zooming in from. I am zooming in from Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Ashley Singleton. I'm a senior project manager at NTTAC. Let us know where you're joining us in from. Dallas, hey there. Denise is in New Jersey. Hey, Denise. We're so excited to see folks from all over. Ruth is in Michigan. Ruth, I hope you have on lots of jackets and coats. I just feel like it's still cold up there. Myrtle Beach. Hey, I'm from South Carolina. So welcome to my South Carolina folks. We're so excited to see you all here in the space today. We have a lot of folks in Florida, Tanisha. You see that in the chat? You got your Florida people here. So we're going to get started because we have a lot of ground to cover and just an hour to cover it in. So we're going to jump right into it. And before we get started, I want to share with you all some information that I have to share with everyone. And we'll get started on the next slide here, where I will tell you all a little bit about our disclaimer. So just to let you all know that NTTAC is funded by SAMHSA, but the materials that we are presenting today are those representing the voices of our presenters and not necessarily that of our funder. We are recording today's session, so you'll receive a copy of the recording after this session is over. Also, we compile resources that are shared. So if you are sharing resources in the chat, don't worry about trying to scramble and get the link. We're going to compile all of those and share those as well. Okay. On the next slide, I also want to let you all know that in case of any security issues, hopefully there will be none, but if there are any security issues, we will close this session and then forward you all information on how you can rejoin. But again, fingers crossed, knocking on wood, that's not going to happen. Not going to be a problem today. On our next slide, we have some information here about our partners, and we're super just honored to have so many partners from all across the nation supporting the work that we do. If you want to learn more about NTTAC and who we are or our partners, you can visit our website at intactmentalhealth.org. Some of the services that we provide will be listed on our next slide, where you will see that we offer podcasts and practical tools and resources. All of these services, y'all, are at no cost to you. So we really encourage you to please take advantage of the full range of services that we provide. I'm really excited that we'll have podcasts launched soon. So for folks who can't maybe participate in our webinar, you can listen in to some of the things that we offer. So please take advantage of that. And just let's make sure everybody is on mute for us, please. There will be an opportunity for people to share a little later, but not right now, okay? All right, thank you. All right, so moving right along, y'all, I get excited about this System of Care Summit. If you participated in the System of Care Summit last year, can you put a heart in the chat? I would love to see who all came last year. Put a heart or a fire, just put something in the chat. Let us know that you came last year. This year, we are offering the System of Care Summit again, May 14th through the 16th. This is again, no cost. No cost registration, no cost CEHs, or continuation education hours. So the link is on the slide. We'll also drop it in the chat. Go ahead and register for this no-cost System of Care Summit. Tanisha will be one of our keynote speakers at the summit this year. So you'll get a chance to hear from her again. So please make sure that you join us for that. All righty. Woosah. I mentioned to you all, you will receive follow-up emails and resources you'll also receive a certificate of completion for participating today as well. So with that being said, I am just honored to be in this space with you all today, to talk about Black brilliance and innovation. This series is going to be one of a kind, y'all. I'm really excited about all of our presenters and the opportunity for us to just share with one another, learn from one another, and just grow with one another. So with that, I am going to pass it over to Dr. Tanisha Freeman Foster to tell us a little bit more about how we'll share this space together today.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you so much, and welcome everyone. I see the chat is on fire, so I am excited because that is the way we kick off the day. Today, we have 90 minutes together. I think we mixed it up a little bit between 60 and 90, but we actually have time. Last year, we had 60 minutes, and so we learned, like we listened and we heard everything that was said about this short amount of time, so we extended it for additional 30 minutes. So again, welcome. I seen someone in the chat, they got me excited because they say they were coming in from, what did they say? What did they say? I seen like the Virgin Islands or something like that. And then they said, I'm just playing, I'm in Texas. So that like kind of my balloon shrunk a little bit because I was dreaming about the Caribbean and the beautiful water there. But again, welcome to today's session, Black Brilliance and Innovation. Please keep it fun, keep it light in the chat. This is a celebration. It's a celebration of working while Black. We are celebrating Black brilliance and innovation. And before I proceed to the next slide, I would be remiss if I didn't honor and call out who we just heard from. Like Ashley Singleton keeps us organized, keeps us together, just brilliant with ideas of how to move the center forward and activities and things that we can do that are different and innovative. And so I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you, Ashley, for your Black brilliance and innovation. And thank you for opening this session up today. All right. So again, my name is Dr. Tanisha Freeman Foster. I am the co-founder and CEO of Lead Us Well. I am also but I can't even say former. I am still a colleague of NTTAC. And so excited. I am located in Tampa Bay, Florida, which is the land of the Seminole people. And if you haven't done so already, please introduce yourself in the chat, your name, your location. If you're aware of the land that you are on, please share that in a superpower. Since we're celebrating, we want to celebrate superpower. So a lot of times we tuck our stuff, we hide, and we know that we're fabulous, but we don't often acknowledge it. And so let's acknowledge some of the superpowers in the chat. I'm going to pause and give you a few minutes just to think of it. If you can think of more than one, please share that. Don't be shy. So let's see what's coming up. I see being Black 365. Yes, thank you, Turkisha. And hopefully I got your name right. Empathy, the calm in the storm. Kindness. Compassion, strong woman powers. Love. Hilarious, yes. Vision. And Black 365 days of the year. Faith, self-care, facilitating strategic connections. Listening intentionally. Comedy for us here. And connection. Leading together. And this is so beautiful. What is beautiful about it is that we can just be, and we want to create that space where we can just be together here. And there's no right or wrong or 5 stars or award for who has the best answer, because it takes all of us. And it takes all of these things for us to be great. It takes all of these things for us to make an impact. And at the end of the day, we are unique individuals. So we're going to bring different pieces. And if we think about it as a cookout, it's like we want all the dishes there, because that's the beauty of it. Like all of the dishes, the potato salad, the sweet potato pie, all of it. And so even with the potato salad, we want multiple potato salads. You can't say, well, somebody else is bringing it, I won't bring. We want yours too. And so thank you for bringing that today. All right. Thank you for continuing to share in the chat. And so this is an overview of our agenda today. We will have an opening activity. We will then showcase some of our upcoming events because this is a series of events. This is our second annual series of Black 365. So we are super excited about that. Then we have a small group activity, and we have found that sometimes people fall off when we start talking about breakout sessions, but I promise you, this is going to be something powerful and something that you do not want to jump off this meeting. So we encourage you to stay. And then we'll come back together and have a large group discussion, and we'll have a closing activity, and we will adjourn into our next session. Again, this is a series. So before we move forward any further, I just want to make sure that we are grounded in what it means to come together, what it means to have a celebration, and making sure that we are real at all times, but that we are using strength-based and language that is hopeful, that we are inclusive and accepting of diverse cultures, genders, perspectives, and experiences. And keep in mind that these exist across race, that these exist across neighborhood and zip code, that each of us bring a diverse culture. There are things that we may be familiar with because we share similar traditions or rituals, but there's also so much diversity, even amongst us, everyone in this room. So being aware of that, we want to come in from a place that's healing. And I've seen that in the chat with compassion and kindness and humor and comedy and all of those things. We want to be inviting. We want to use person first language, avoid being judgmental and making assumptions. We also want to make sure that our language is respectful, clear, and understandable. And last but not least, we want to make sure that as much as possible, that our actions, policies, and products are consistent with what we're saying. And so as we celebrate Black brilliance and innovation here, we don't want it to just be left here. We want you to take it back into your home, take it back into your workplace, and replicate it, make it innovative, do something fun within your organization, and not just during Black History Month, but every month, every week, every day. People should feel like that, whether you're working in an in-person office or a virtual office. All right, so we're going to move into celebrating Black brilliance and innovation. We're going to start off with a chatterfall. And for those of you who are not familiar with the chatterfall, what we are going to do, we're going to ask this question. And so the question is, describe what Black brilliance means to you using one of your 5 senses. But you will not press enter. You will hold it, type it in the chat and hold, and we're going to do a countdown, and then we'll press enter, and you'll see the words coming through like a waterfall, but instead of water, it's words, so it's chatterfall. And so for this, we're going to talk about Black brilliance, and you can choose one. Black brilliance looks like, Black brilliance tastes like, Black brilliance sounds like, Black brilliance smells like, Black brilliance feels like. And I provide an example. Black brilliance, to me, sounds like an HBCU band at halftime, which is one of my favorite things. And so there's no right or wrong answer. It's what you feel and whichever one you would like to choose. And so I'll pause here. I'll give a few seconds, few minutes, and then we'll do a countdown and everyone will press enter. Thank you. And I see someone also loves the drum line. Okay, we'll give us another minute. Please hold on pressing enter, and then we'll do a countdown.
They so excited. You got them so excited, Doctor. Jumping again.
Yes. We talk about bands and fried chicken and hot sauce all together. All right, so we are going to count down. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press enter. Wow, thank you all so much. So we have Black Brilliance smells like pine sol on Saturday morning. Black Brilliance looks like this year's Super Bowl at halftime. Justice and family preservation, bright colors popping off our skin. Black Brilliance feels like soft, kinky curls, waves, and coils. This is beautiful. Being authentic to yourself, no matter the situation, space, or time. Smells and sounds like Christmas at my home in Detroit as a kid. The snow, my mother's cooking of greens and cornbread stuffing, and the Temptations Christmas album playing. That is beautiful. Looks like quarterback the Super Bowl for the 3rd time. All right, in the chat. Black Brilliant smells like cocoa butter. Yes. Smells like coconut oil on the beach. Feels and smells like shea butter. We claiming all the butters. All the coconut oil, all the shea butter, the coconut butter, all of it. Feels like communicating with another sister and with a look and not saying anything verbally. Oh yes, feels warm, feels like a crown being placed on my head by the creator. Feels like peace, jazz or blues, fireworks, marching, with Shaka Zulu marching with his soldier. Y'all better do it in this chat. My auntie's kitchen on Sunday. It feels like me in chocolate covered strawberries and bands. Goodness. Sitting in the sun with a nice breeze. Smells like sweet potato pie bacon. All right now. A big, beautiful rainbow. Thank you all for sharing this. And we're going to download this chat, so we'll share these back out. Feels like dancing and laughing with my cousins on Thanksgiving. Grandma's cooking. This is beautiful. Oh, Soul Train on Saturday morning cleaning sessions. Looks like excellence in a beautiful sunset. Sounds like lift every voice. Smells like my grandmother's kitchen and feels like love and tastes like sweet potato pie and looks like me. Come through. Black Brilliance looks like well-touched afros. This is so beautiful. We are going to share this list. We don't have, we want to preserve the time for your breakout group sessions, but this is wonderful. Please keep sharing. Feels like warmth and embracing, and Black Brilliance looks like a family reunion. This is beautiful. And so I want to pause here and let each of you know that you are Black Brilliance. So when we talk about Black Brilliance, it's not an other. And so we wanted to be sure during this session, we always honor those who came before us and those who did the work to create a space for us to even be here today. And we always honor that. And this year we wanted to switch it up a little bit. Last year we looked at the pioneers of various fields, and this year we wanted to look within, because we are those individuals. They paved the way for us to be here, but we are also Black Brilliance and innovation. And so we want to keep that in mind as we move through this. And so in moving and talking about Black Brilliance and innovation, we just wanted to amplify our Black Brilliance and innovation at NTTAC. And so I've mentioned Ashley Singleton, but we also have Adamina Tankersley, Bridget Ukawa, Chidama, Dennis, Dion, Dr. Gia, Iha, Jasmine, and Lisa Knight. And so I just want to pause for the cause and just celebrate my colleagues here who are oftentimes, you may see them in NTTAC sessions, but a lot of them are behind the scenes, making magic happen, taking our ideas and thoughts and things and bringing them into fruition through a slide deck, helping us organize, helping us establish the links for people to join via Zoom and putting the information out so people even know it is an event happening. So thank you to each of them. Next, I know I'm so honored to have this A team today. And so these are the leaders of our Black 365, and we have had the pleasure of rolling together. And I think my pleasure even more of being able to work alongside this just beautiful and magnificent team of just amazing individuals. And so why they came here to celebrate Black brilliance and innovation beyond themselves, I'm going to take a moment to introduce each of them and celebrate each of them and what they bring. And so I will start off with Sean Worthy. Sean, another amazing human being on this team, is a full custody father, entrepreneur, author, is the CEO and owner of I Am Worthy and Associates. And he does so much for youth and young people. He does so much in the peer space and helping young people and just going above and beyond, showing up at court to make sure that young people who are involved with the justice system are not given exorbitant sentences and that they're able to live their life and even learn from those mistakes. And so Sean is in the courtroom, Sean is in the classroom, Sean is in the community, Sean is out in those streets. So I just want to celebrate Sean's Black brilliance and innovation. And I see someone say, that's my brother right there. And Sean will be our presenter for April. And so Sean, if you want to come off mute and introduce yourself and share your why for choosing your session on infiltrate, educate, vacate, empowering social service professionals for a community.
What up, everybody? As you know, my name is Sean Worthy, and my last name is real heavy because I carry it very proudly. And yes, it's my real last name. I've been asked that before, if I like this was my stage name or something, which I get it nowadays when we talk about social media and people got handles, but this is really my government last name, which is a God-given blessing to me and just the journey that I've been able to create in my life and the things that I've been able to overcome. Shout out to everybody from Seattle, Washington, and the surrounding areas. I'm out here. So please connect with me anywhere that you can if you're interested and you hear more from my session or just anything that I say now. But yeah, my life started off just being a knucklehead, lack of fatherhood, role model, lack of just a lot of male influence in my life. And I did what most people do, and I went out and I tried to find it, and I found it in the wrong places, ended up being in the streets, making negative decisions, locked up multiple times, 14, well, actually 12 was the first time I got locked up, all the way till I was 17. And then I graduated and went to big boy college of the streets, which is prison. Got sentenced to, I was looking at 10 years, got sentenced to 5. And the little dude behind me that you can see he was about to be born. And I just kind of really just changed my life around. I didn't have a father, so that left a chip on my shoulder. And I realized, like, instead of being like him, I wanted to be different than him. So I just fought against myself and everything that I didn't know and the system and all the other things to kind of be that father. And I think that's what helped me rebuild my life and gave me so much purpose and meaning to give to the community. And I'll share a little bit about one of the times that changed my life. Is I was getting out of work release to come home to my son, and I had to chase his little bad butt around because he had a diaper hanging and slinging from his body. You guys know about them little babies that be running around with them saggy diapers on. So I was chasing him around the house, and I finally got him. And I was putting him on his back. You know how you put the baby on their back to change the diaper. My man's just swinging at me, yelling at me, saying all this stuff. And I just looked at him and I said, hey, just let daddy change your diaper. And at 2 years old, because I had been in prison his whole entire existence, he looked at me and said, you're not my dad. And yes, I blanked the word out there. At 2 years old, my son said that to me. Instead of getting mad and being a victim of life in my own circumstances, I decided to change that. I decided to fight that narrative. I decided to show up for him every day. And that led to me fighting and going into the community to help other young men and women out that went through similar situations to me. So my purpose lies with my son, and it kind of just went into the community and like, what could I offer? And I realized at a certain point that I didn't go through all the things that I went through for no reason. I just had to figure out a way to give it back to the community. So for me, I've done a lot of infiltrating, educating, and vacating, right? And kind of talking about this, I think that a lot of times we look at situations as just what they are instead of what we could get from them, right? And there's different perspectives to break this down, which I will do in the presentation, but just giving you an example is, you know, some of us work for systems and we get taught a lot of valuable information from these systems of things about mental health, self-care, and all these other things that could help our community out, right? But unfortunately, sometimes that information doesn't get back to our community. And I just want to put it on us as social service professionals and people that work in our community to find a way to do that through what information we have, resources we have, or whatever else. And, you know, educating ourselves through those opportunities and then vacating that information or even that position and going and giving that back to somebody who needs it. I've been able to do that a lot in my life. The way I structure curriculum with young people is I teach them about some of these things that they aren't taught about, but we work through skills. Instead of just being concept heavy, we work on the skills. We work on the repetition of going through the things so that they get comfortable. And I think, like, for me, you know, being able to come back in the community and kind of take things that I know are being, you know, used in the system as buzzwords or things that are currently going on and changing the game and kind of utilizing that as a way to teach people in that same way. And also my young people, having them understand this is the way that the system does look at you, you know, and this is why we have to be more educated and why we have to do these things. And it's just what the Black Panthers did, right? It's just like there's plenty of people in our history that had Black excellence and that were a part of uplifting and changing the trajectory of what black culture looked like in American society. Is pretty much what they did. They infiltrated, educated, and vacated. And I got this from a brother named Derek Grace. But also too, there's also a movie, and I'm gonna mess up I can't remember exact off the top of my, but The Spook That Sat by the Door, I think is the name of the movie, which is a man that went into the CIA and kind of did the same thing. So there'll be plenty of examples of this and how we could do it, but then also group discussion to be able to go over some ways that maybe you have done it, and I'll talk about ways that I have, and just being more intentional about getting this information to our community, whether it's through community organizations, whether it's through just people in our family, whatever it is, but just making sure that we infiltrate, educate, and vacate and empower our community with that information. And I thank you guys so much for the time. And hopefully I was able to give you an introduction of my presentation. I hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you so much, Sean. Awesome job. Awesome job. Thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you for sharing your story. So next we have another person that's in the classroom, in the streets, and in the community. And I think about the work that we do when we talk about Black brilliance and innovation, that it's not one-dimensional, because it's not something that we turn off at 5 o'clock. It's something that is our entire life. And so wherever we go, it follows us, whether it's in the grocery store, at the church, at the theme park, it follows us. And so Dr. Warren has led the development of various programs globally and locally. And I am privileged and honored that he's here locally in our town that I live in. And so from school, from being the CEO of the Spring Zone of St. Pete, and really doing a lot of work with Black men and Black boys and girls in the schools, and making sure that our children, our Black and brown children, are not marginalized, are not suspended and sent out of school, but he's there to support, and not only support the young people, but help the teachers and administrators understand the disparities that are happening in the schools and why this is important to the community, and also helping Black men heal so they can serve as role models. And so one of the events that just happened here locally that Dr. Warren was responsible for is Just Heal Bro, which was an amazing turnout here in St. Petersburg of Black men coming together to talk about mental wellness and to heal, and to not only just come together for an event, but to create lifelong connections and partnerships. And so I could go on and on talking about this next superhero and this A team that we have here, but I will turn it over to you, Dr. Warren, to introduce yourself and your why for your topic on the roots and modernization of Black masculinity in a space for Black men, coming up in May.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I sincerely appreciate that introduction. And good folks on the call, I know a lot of times you get on these Zooms and it seems like there's this annoying love fest for everybody, and you go, oh, I just wish they would stop. But this is really, really genuine. the opportunity that Dr. Freeman Foster has laid out for us, and especially for me through this series, has given me the opportunity to build. Many times we start things and we only have funding to do that, one and gun and one and done. But thanks to Dr. Freeman Foster, we have an opportunity to build and expand. So last year, we had our foundational piece where we had our foundational conversations just to get everyone in alignment and just bring the issue of Black male mental health and what are we doing for ourselves to help our communities, right? If we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we be taking care of our communities? And the session was great. The feedback was great, but more importantly, we had an opportunity to keep that work going 365. Past Black History Month, we were able to harness that energy and have those brothers participate in different circles. We had different yoga trips where brothers, we went out to the river, we meditated, we talked, we kayaked, we fished, we did all of these building activities, and we were able to build momentum for the events that we just spoke about. The Just Heal Bro Tour in Tampa and St. Petersburg. We had over 400 Black men combined from ages 3 years old to 78 years old, being themselves, saying, hey, I'm not all right, but I want to get on the path to being all right because my children need me, my wife or my partner need me, my community needs me, the spirit world needs me as a powerful and contributing force to watch over our communities and our women and our children. So what I wanted to do is build even more this year, right? We know we're here at the table. We've acknowledged where the hurt comes from and where the pain comes from, but now we need to take it a step further. So this year, I would like to focus on how was that model of masculinity working out for you, brother? And I want to ask that of all of my brothers, because once we get to the place where we acknowledge that we need help, we have to understand that help will only go so far unless we change what we know about what we believe to be a man. So our session will focus on each Black man having the opportunity to explore where they got their model of masculinity. Many of us got it from our mothers, right? Those of us who were raised by single mothers. We've often heard, a woman can't raise a man, and that's true. They raise amazing humans. But you found as an adult, your mother's model of masculinity may not be working out for you with other men or in dealing with women in romantic relationships. They may have other expectations of you that you have not explored because you're walking around with your mother's masculinity, right? Some of us are walking around with our model of masculinity that was given to us by our slave masters. The model of masculinity that says we only have access to the low-hanging fruit of sadness, anger, and sexual desire. Does your model of masculinity allow you to paint with a broader stroke or allow you access to a broader spectrum of emotional colors, right? So there are many, many ways that we as Black men have adopted a model of masculinity, and I want to explore if that model is working out for you now. Is it working out for you as a parent? Are you able to be there for your children in every way that you need to? Are you able to be there for your partner, right? Your husband or your wife in the ways emotionally and spiritually in which they need you? And are you able to be there for your community? As a football coach or a deacon or, any other member of the community that contributes and gives back. And if you are, okay, but if you're not, let's explore a more holistic, culturally inclusive, and emotionally inclusive model of masculinity that you can move forward with. And I very much look forward to having all of my brothers come in and contribute so that we can continue this work. And next year, show the value of the work that we've done and then take it a step further. I sincerely hope to see you all in our session.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Warren, and thank you for really honing in on building and what that looks like to keep it going, to keep it moving forward, and for sharing your story and for sharing your why. And it looks like you were having prayer meeting because I see preach and hands in the chat. So it's like a revival during the daytime on Monday night revival in the chat. Awesome. Thank you so much. So our next all-star that I am so excited to share from this A team of Black 365 is Dr. Carmen Reese Foster. And she is another person that is in the school working at Belmont University as an assistant professor and previously as an online and assistant professor at the University of Tennessee College of Social Work. She is also the founder and executive director of the Coalition of Black Social Workers, which exists to engage, connect, and empower social work students and professionals. Dr. Reese Foster goes over and above to make sure that our Black and Brown children who are at college and university have the best experience possible. She makes sure that they have what they need, and also in a real way. Because I think sometimes it's easy to sugarcoat, like, you good, you went to college, you there. And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning of so many times of things that we didn't even learn at home, that people couldn't teach us because they didn't know themselves. And so I am so excited that Dr. Reese Foster is in the school and to help guide our young Black babies as they navigate college and what that feels like and the opportunities that are in front of them. And so without further ado, I will introduce Dr. Carmen Reese Foster. She will be leading our session on June 12th. And the theme is the breath of resilience, encouraging Black people to breathe and heal. And if there's someone who can talk about rest and breathing, it is Dr. Reese Foster. So I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Freeman Foster. Hi, everybody. My name is Carmen. I'm so glad to be here with you today. This is one of my favorite times of the year when we all get together and we celebrate the excellence and the brilliance and the beauty that is among us. So I commend you for prioritizing yourself today and taking time today to really be amongst people who want to celebrate and uplift Blackness. So I want to read just a few names to you all. Chesley Christ, Twitch, Dr. Antoinette Candia Bailey, Dr. Joanne Epps, and Dr. Montague. These are all Black people, 3 of them very high up in higher education, who have died because of stress, because of mental health issues, because of workplace trauma, because of the pressures that we feel to be excellent always. So it's really important to me as I not only get to work with students, social work students, to really prepare them to enter into a field that is hard. It is really important that we take care of each other, that we have this idea of collective well-being, so that if I see my sister hurt, then I can help lift her up. The challenge with that, friends, is that oftentimes, because we live in a system that is rooted in white supremacy, and that is our foundation, the challenge is that we have not given permission to ourselves or by our employers or by society to be able to rest, to be able to breathe, to understand that we are constantly living in this cycle of go, 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 do, 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 and that adds trauma, trauma, trauma. And those are things that we don't talk about. And so it is my hope that in June, we can have some opportunity to really talk about what it looks like to be healed, what it looks like to be whole, because we have these pictures, right, that society paints of us, those of us who are doing well, those of us who are productive, those of us who are overachievers, but really most of us are just really high functioning, anxious people. Most of us are just really trapped in this cycle of perform, 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 and do, because we constantly have to prove ourselves. And that, my friends, is killing us. So I hope that we are able to change the narrative around that. I hope we are able to promote healing and to promote resilience and to allow each other to breathe, because the cycle is killing us. Literally, those names, may they rest in peace. But the cycle, the grind, the trauma that we do not name is really killing us. So I hope that we are able to really get into that. And I hope that we are able to prioritize ourselves enough to acknowledge that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay even if you're a CEO or an executive director or a clinical director, or it's okay to not have it all figured out. And we need to give each other space for that. So that's my heart. That's my passion. My research area is aligned in race-based trauma and healing, and collective well-being. And so it's really important to me that Black and Brown people start to speak with authority about trauma, and that we're able to call out racism and white supremacy and show that that is inflicting trauma generationally on us, right? So we need to change that narrative so that our grandchildren and that their children don't have to deal with this, so that we are healthy and we're coping well and we're really living out this idea of community. So I hope that we'll get to spend some time together June the 12th. I'm so glad that you are here today. I'm so honored to be among this team of Black 365. I feel like this is the dream team that Dr. Freeman Foster has put together. And so I can't wait to spend time with you in June. And someone wrote in the chat, the Coalition of Black Social Workers, how do you join it? If you go to thecbsw.org, and I'll drop it in the chat, you can get all the information. We would love to have any social worker join us. We actually have a huge conference in Nashville on Friday. So if I look a little tired, that's because I've been doing last minute details. But we would love to have any social worker hop in and link up with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reese Foster. Thank you for, again, reminding us of the importance of breathing as not an option, but as a requirement and as a priority. And thank you for sharing about the Black social worker, the Coalition of Black Social Workers, and being open to new members and things like that. And we wish you continued success with your upcoming conference too. Right, last but not least, our next member of this Black 365 A team is Stacey Thompson. Stacey is the founder and CEO of Equilibrium, which is an organization that was created to educate, build community, provide peer support and advocacy for non-conforming individuals, particularly in the area of mental health and neurodivergence. Stacey is also a certified peer specialist. And Stacey is in those streets. Stacey is in the organizations. Stacey does a magnificent and phenomenal job on really talking about what it looks like, not only non-conformity, but deconformity. What does that look like to not assimilate within the workplace and to maintain your authenticity, both in the workplace and also in the work that you do? And so Stacey, in her peer work, works in helping train new peers, but also works alongside organizations to help them understand how to work with peers, how to work with staff, and how to create healthy organizations. So Stacey actually has two presentations in this series. One presentation will be in March, and it's called Supporting Her. And HER stands for Healing, Empowerment, and Recovery, and is a mental health discussion for Black women. Also in June, Stacey will be leading the session on I'm not okay, and that's okay too. The wisdom of discomfort, and really leaning into that, leaning into rewriting this narrative. And Dr. Carmen Reese Foster just spoke to breaking those generational cycles and rewriting our narrative. Stacy will really delve into this and the discomfort that comes along with that, that sometimes makes us feel other and wrong, but providing strategies on how to continue to press the gas and move through that discomfort. And so without further ado, I will introduce Stacy Thompson. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here. Those are some tough acts to follow. My goodness, here, Brother Chris, Brother Sean, Sister Carmen. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna do my best to bring in the rear here. And so again, I am someone who identifies as non-conforming, and that means so so the term, I guess, that they would use would be gender fluid, because, very much I am aware of the fact that the vessel I inhabit, it has a female sexual assignment, but my spirit transcends gender, and I don't ascribe to gender norms, and that can present a lot of problems when as you try to navigate our spaces and navigate just day-to-day workplace issues and relationship issues, and just the spaces that you occupy that make assumptions about who you are and how you present. And so I think it's an amazing thing that Dr. Carmen came in and provided a perfect segue to talk about how its significance and importance of breathing. That for me, so my first presentation that we're recently announcing, that's going to be for not only our Black excellence, but me to kind of reinforce it's Women's History Month for March. And so I want to do something for that, at that intersection of my Blackness and my femaleness, and to talk about how we actually can support each other, because we're constantly inundated with this pressure and these messages to be superhuman in a world that doesn't even see us as human often. And so how can we, along with each other, how can we support that unique way in which we have to navigate our spaces, and the way that our spaces kind of shape us even. And so with that, supporting her, and that's healing, empowerment, and recovery. And it is a discussion. So it's not just going to be me talking at y'all, because that's not how I do things. I need feedback from the people I'm talking to. And so it is definitely an interactive discussion around mental health, specifically for Black women, and in the area of peer support. How, what are these unique challenges that we navigate on a day-to-day basis? How do they impact us uniquely? And more importantly, how can we support each other in kind of protecting ourselves from that kind of constant trauma, that the constant messaging, and to try to help us from internalizing these messages and reinforcing these messages. What can we do to support each other? And so that is what supporting her is going to be about. And please, I hope y'all join me for that. I'm going to be giving resources for a lot of the work that's going to be upcoming, that I'm going to be working on. And so, please join me there. And so in June, and I chose June with intentionality because it is Pride Month. And so as I identify as gender fluid, and I'm what is known as just fluidity all across the board, me and my orientation, all that. And so talking about how, and I loved how, Dr. Foster just talked about, it's okay to not be okay. Because again, as Black people, it's, you can't help but see our resilience. I mean, our very presence speaks to the testament of how strong we are as a people. And strength doesn't come without adversity. Strength doesn't come without discomfort and pain and all the various ways that it comes. And yet, how often do we try to push each other past that? Oh, girl, I'm not allowed to express that I'm sad because, oh no, get over that. Just shake yourself out of it. Or, I'm not able to be mad. Or, oh no, people don't, oh, we're afraid of anger, when anger can be a great motivator. And so, there are ways in which, it is important for us to explore the ways that we are, whenever, the way we present and navigate the world, we're navigating the world as people who, for all intents and purposes, don't belong here, right? Because this place wasn't created for us, and it wasn't created with us in mind. And so with all that being enshrined in our systems, enshrined in our policies, we are coming from a space of, we don't fit. And so that's going to create some discomfort that sometimes we're not even able to put our finger on, and we don't know until we are in this place of, why isn't this working? Why do I feel this way? And so the importance of exploring and leaning into that to learn from what that is, the asking the questions, exploring it. And so, again, it's going to be a discussion because I like feedback, I like interaction, and for me, that's going to last a lot longer than me just talking at you. So, again, I hope, if you have the time, if you have the wherewithal, please join me for these discussions, because they usually are pretty lively, and sometimes you don't even know what you needed until you get it. So thank you so much for having me here again, Dr. T. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Stacy, and thank you for sharing your story with us and your why. And again, I am excited. I don't think we have any trouble finding people to come to these sessions because the chat has been on fire. So that is so exciting to me. And thank you again to this A team. If you join me in giving them a round of applause and showing them some love and hearts in the chat, we're so excited for the opportunity to have this at NTTAC, and for the opportunity to be able to share and have this much Black brilliance and innovation in the room. And so while I have shared about my A team and about the people that I am appreciative of as it relates to Black 365, we wanted to make some space to talk about the ripple effects of unsung Black heroes. And so we kind of thought about the unsung show that comes on television that talks about the backstory to various musicians and artists, but each of us has that. Each of us sits on the shoulder of at least one giant. Most of us sits on the shoulder of many giants. And so we want to take this time. This will be our small group activity and breakout sessions, but take this time to talk about the ripple effects of our unsung Black heroes. And it could be individuals within our family. It could be individuals in the workplace, someone that we met in school or college, or someone that we just came across in our community. Who are those individuals that contribute or have contributed to your life? And so keep that in mind. Next, I will share this quote by Mae Jemison, and it says, "Never be limited by other people's imaginations." And I thought this was so powerful and so fitting for this conversation on Black brilliance and innovation, especially as we kick off this series. And one of the things I thought was really amazing is that Mae Carol Jemison is an American engineer. She's a physician. She practiced as a general practitioner, and also did a lot of research with the CDC to help find vaccines for various diseases. one thing she also did that was really extraordinary, in addition to these other things, is that she was a former NASA astronaut, and she became the first African-American woman to travel into space in 1992 on the Space Shuttle Endeavour. And what I thought was amazing is that she took things with her into space. And one of the things that she took, she was very into choreographed dancing. She took a poster from the Avon Ailey American Dance Theater. She also took a West African statue and a photo of aviator Betsy Coleman, which was the first African American with the international pilot license. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, what are we taking with us every day? Who are we taking? What are we taking with us as we navigate the workplace, as we navigate our communities? And let's take a moment to pause, to think about that, and to really celebrate that as we celebrate ourselves. And so that will be our activity for the small breakout groups. And again, we encourage you not to leave, because we feel that this is something phenomenal, and that's something that we don't take time to pause and do often. And so I ask that you take a picture of this slide, because it will disappear once you go into your groups. But in the group that you're in, I would love for you to introduce yourself and then identify a Black unsung hero who has greatly influenced your work, life, career, or leadership journey. And then talk about that person. Who is this person? What did you admire, or what did you admire most about them? And what is their ripple effect? How has this impacted your life? How has knowing them, how has the things they have done or helped you with impacted your life? And again, this could be throughout your life. It could be the Black woman or Black man that supports you at work and making sure you have your files together and your supplies, or making sure that your favorite coffee is in the coffee machine. And so we're looking at the impact, the ripple effect, how it impacts our lives. And so we're going to move to small groups, and oh, I'll put that slide back just in case you didn't take a picture of it. And so what we're going to do, I think, Joanne, we can put people in groups of 4, and we will stay in the group for 10 minutes, and then we'll come out, and then we'll share some themes and some things that came up in those groups. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, please put them in the chat. And I see some have to drop off, and that's fine too, if you're unable to stay. And we also received a question about upcoming events. If you are subscribed to our NTTAC newsletter, you will receive the emails regarding the upcoming events, and it will contain the link to sign up for all of the sessions that you have heard today. All right, I think we are ready for breakout sessions.
Okay. Okay, so for me, first off, the one was Malcolm. I think that there was just a lot of evolution in his time that we could have gained, and it could have pushed us a lot forward, especially with him and Martin coming together and them being so divisive against each other in certain instances in their journey. But then also too, John Lewis was a huge, like, when I started learning more about the man, and I started learning more about myself and the journey that I was on. One of the bigger things for me was seeing how he went as a Black man that was very grounded in his Blackness, and went and fought against the system, and was a part of a system trying to change things, and was firm in it. He wasn't one that was outed. And some of these brothers and sisters that have been a part of this journey with us have done some things that our people aren't too proud of. And John was one of those people that walked in Selma and a lot of other things. And I'll read a quote that I stand true to this day: is, "Do not get lost in the sea of despair, but hope, be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, or a month, or a year. It's the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." And I believe in that, because I believe that's, like, I used to get in a lot of trouble for no reason, and now I get in trouble for a reason. I'm willing to stand up and do things, and I found a way to channel that into a positive. So that definitely carried a lot with me. And I would say one thing that stuck out with me is my godmother, Diane Brown. She passed away a couple years ago, but I think that was one of the first women that spoke life into me in a way that it wasn't based off of my a skill set or anything. It was based off of who she seen me as a human being, and like that today is who I flourish as. And I just think about it like I didn't really understand when I was a child what she was pouring into me or what she could see, but so many people see that in me now, and she's seen it in me before I even had the ability to develop it into the man that I am today. So I'm so grateful for her. And for her, she never had any kids, um and she just always was a lady that took care of everybody, and she loved everybody to a fault sometimes. But my godmother came into my life, and I didn't have my godmother around, my grandmother around me very much, and she played that role. But one of the things I can remember from her is her laugh and how she used to speak life into me, and it was just God. It was God speaking through her, because like how would she have known that I'd become the man that I am today? So I'm so blessed to have that in my life. And yeah, thank you very much for letting me share.
Thank you so much for sharing, and sorry for your loss. And thank you for sharing just the beauty of that relationship. And I just want to say, as we talk about Black brilliance and innovation, one day someone else will be sitting in this seat. We're going to pass the baton forward, and they're going to be telling a story about how we poured into their lives and the impact that we made on their lives. And so that was the notion of the ripple effect, that these little things, these little deeds that we are doing just because we are us, that we're pouring into people, and the ripple effect and things that will remain even after we are no longer here on earth. And so just keeping that in mind, that although it seems hard, and it is hard, and we're not okay all the time, that the things that we are navigating and the gems and the things that we're pouring into people, they're not in vain, that it makes an impact and it makes a difference, just as the people that we talked about in our group made a difference in our lives. We're also making a difference on the next generation, or our same generation. We're making a difference in the lives of others who will make a difference in future generations. And that is the way we disrupt generational cycles, that we create our own. We create positive cycles, we create positive ripples. And so thank you again for staying and for sticking around for your groups. And so we will open it up for two individuals to share. So if anyone would like to share what you shared, a person that you share in your group briefly, please use the raise hand feature. We'd love to hear more about it. All right, Brianne.
Hello. Figured I'd go
Hello.
for it.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
no problem. So I had shared that the unsung hero of mine was a teen coordinator that I had when I was a youth. Her name is Sonia Thomas. Um, and she has greatly influenced the work in my career that I have currently. I think and to introduce myself, I apologize, Brianne Daly. I am the youth engagement coordinator at our local health department here in St. Mary's County in Maryland. And I've been doing, work with family and youth my entire career. So for the past 20 years now, all my work has been with youth, family, children's, holistic approaches, things like that. And I definitely connect that, my connection to the work and my passion for the work, I connect it back to Sonia. Born and raised in Providence, Rhode Island. And when people hear the state of Rhode Island, they don't typically think about like violence or, that there's even a large Black community that's there. I get that a lot. But there is, and there are. And so Sonia, as our teen director, she helped us out through a lot. We lost a lot of friends to violence when we were teenagers. She helped keep, a lot of us off the street. She took us hiking. She took us whitewater rafting. She took us skiing. I mean, imagine 15 kids from what people consider the hood, skiing up in Vermont and, living in log cabins and whitewater rafting, in 2000. That just wasn't something that we were doing or that was heard of. And she really did. She never judged any of the kids who were in the program. Is something I had said to my group. She always gave folks their space, and she always respected any of the teens, regardless of what the situation was. And it really has helped me in working with youth and families to, you know, how to approach people and what to say and how to be empathetic, and while also being assertive and also being a support and an advocate. So she really did help you know, mold this idea of, you know, who I want to be and my career choices and things of that nature. Just being who she was and a support to us as kids.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Brianne, and thank you for the work that you're doing with young people.
Thank you. No problem.
Is anyone else interested in sharing one of the people they shared in their group, or one of the people they wanted to share? We actually have one of our participants who was unable to speak because of their location. So they're unable to come off mute because of their background. So they share in the chat, and this is from Brian. My unsung person is a woman named Jillian Hendricks. She is currently the EEO/Affirmative Action Director of one of the largest state agencies in New Jersey. She gave me a chance back in 2014 to do something different career-wise. I learned from her the value of looking out for your own and being an effective leader. I admire her fortitude and commitment to teaching and being a mentor. I definitely would not be where I am without her. Also keeping me mentally strong. As far as a ripple effect, I am also committed to giving back and pulling people up and coaching them. I've also been able to infiltrate into a position where I can pay it forward. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Brian. All right, we're going to do the last call, not the last call forever, because we hope that you continue to think about these individuals and think about the impact and think about the small things and how the accumulation of small things amounted to a big difference in your life and still affects you today and still lingers and impacts how you think and how you work and the impact that you make on others. And so I see Rhonda.
Whoops. Oh, my camera is not working, or is it? There we
Yep, we
go.
see you. Awesome.
Okay. I'll go. And this was kind of like a overt or suburb who has been an influence. My name is Rhonda Bullock. I am a family peer support specialist here in Maryland. We offer peer support to caregivers with loved ones with behavioral health needs. And for me, I am a child of the 70s. You know, standards of beauty were just definitely different. And Madge Sinclair, I don't, you know, if you're my age, then, you know, Trapper John. If you're a little bit younger, then it's the mom in Coming to America. And I remember the first time I saw her, the first time I saw a dark-skinned woman who was breathtakingly beautiful. Like I never, like, you know, you see models before, but, you know, she had that Caribbean accent. And I was just like, wow, like she's beautiful, which was not the messages that I heard, especially in the 70s and especially within our own community. And I also can recognize that look in other women and other little girls. And so I make it a point with the families that I come in contact, and even sometimes the young girls that I come in contact, just to try to speak some sort of life into them, because whether we like it or not, it's still an issue within our community. And you know, we want to get rid of it, but while it's still there, you know, some of us chocolate girls have felt some type of way. And so I just remember seeing her and was like, wow. And I've always thought that, because I want every little brown girl to feel that way. And so Madge Sinclair.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rhonda, and thank you for the work that you're doing and also showing love to the chocolate girls. So thank you so much for that. All right, so we are going to move to our final chatterfall, and then after this, we will open it up for any questions or things that may be coming up. So our last chatterfall for this is, please share one thing you are leaving the session with today. And so share in the chat, but do not press enter, and we'll do a countdown. And I see someone share in the chat, it's true, I'm inspired every day to be more like my unsung hero. As a model myself after her, I hope to add more of her magic to the world. I just hope I do her justice. I'm sure you will. Sure you will. And I think the beauty of this is that most time people are not aiming to be an unsung hero. They're just doing what they know they feel is best, or things that they wish had been said to them or done for them or with them, or things that were done that they know worked and helped make a positive impact, and they're paying it forward. And so thank you all again. And so we're going to count down for this Chatterfall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, let's see. It's okay not to be okay. Proud to be in a community with like-minded individuals, professionals, kings and queens. We're all beautifully, uniquely made. The joy of sharing like this with my Black and brown kinfolk. We're not alone. There are so many of us working in the community. Gratitude, see refreshment and renewal, excellent work. Hope, love oneself and others. A smile and gratitude for the day, a mentor to someone. See a lot of it's okay not to be okay. Absolutely. Love, thanks, finish what you start. A sense of pride and respect in my peers being so given to others. Someone said I had a hard time thinking of my unsung hero and realized today that I am my own hero. That is beautiful. Representation matters. Thank you. And one person can make a change and impact a life for good. Awesome. Thank you so much. And as you continue to think of these, you can feel free to add them in the chat. And so next is our questions and comments. So if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand and we'll open it up for 2 questions if we have any questions. Yes, you will be receiving the PowerPoint via email. Absolutely. Right, and I did my 7-second countdown so we can make sure introverts and extroverts were heard. So we are going to turn it back over to Ashley to close us out. But I want to sincerely send a thank you to each of you, to my A team, for showing up, and the unsung heroes of our Black 365 for showing up bright and brilliant and ready to take on the world and putting that energy out there, and for each of you for coming and for making time to make this session what it is today, because we don't do this in silo. We don't do this alone. It requires each of us. So thank you for bringing your authentic and your best self to this. And we look forward to having you participate in our sessions each month as we continue to move forward. You will receive a survey after each session, and we ask that you take time to complete that survey because that helps us continue Black 365. It also gives us ideas for topics and things that you're interested in. All right, first I will pause. Does anyone from our Black 365 team have anything they would like to add before we close out? All right, so Ashley, I will turn it back over to you. Thank you all so much.
Thanks so much, Tanisha, and thanks everybody for being here. And for the 95 people that stayed with us all the way through, shout out to you. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate you. So you will receive a certificate of completion. The presentation is coming your way, also the recording of this session. So you will get an email. Also, like Tanisha said, please fill out the survey. I just dropped a message in the chat that has the summit registration. It has the upcoming events website link. That's where you can go and register for all the events that we talked about today. And then last but not least, the newsletter. Make sure that you sign up for that newsletter so you don't miss any of the announcements of all of the different resources and trainings that we offered to you all for no cost. I think that's all that we have in our slide deck. I don't know, there may be a few others, Tanisha, if you don't mind. Yeah, access to our website. Please follow us on social media, and we are going to see y'all again real soon in March with Stacy. So we look forward to seeing y'all in March. Take care, everybody.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Thank you, A-Team. Thank you, everyone, for coming and showing up and just being in this space and having fun and enjoying and reflecting. So take care, be safe, and be well.